Episode 23, guys.
Welcome into the 99, where we have 99 cards, because Commander is number 1. I'm one of your hosts, Sherman.
I'm Hope.
I'm Daniel.
And I'm Brian.
Anyways.
What are we talking about today?
Today we're going to talk about something that everyone always talks about, but we all kind of have a disagreement with this a bit, and we're kind of talking about mana curve, okay?
I haven't mastered this yet.
We're ready to fight.
We're ready to fight. So, for those who don't know, quick overview. What is mana curve? Mana curve is basically finding all the CMCs of your spells and putting them in like sort of like how many you have of 1, 2, 3 forecasts and all that stuff, and you're seeing like how everything progresses. So it's supposed to look like a bell curve in a sense. Yeah,
the whole point of it is that you want to be able to cast. If everything's 5 cost, you don't have a great mana cost. If everything is 5, your average is obviously 5. You're not going to be able to cast things until you have 5 mana, which, if everything is 5, is turn 5 at the very earliest.
Yeah, so you want to make sure you're
it's turn 4 at the very earliest.
No, it's turn 5.
No?
If everything is 5 cost?
Yeah, but what if you drop a soul ring?
Well,
everything. You wouldn't have a soul ring. I get you.
Yeah. So
I get it.
the majority of
On this episode, Hope learns math.
Those classic 5-cost soul ring.
And keywords. Yeah.
yeah.
That would not be worth it.
No. But
Ooh, Bessie.
That would be a dead drop.
Yeah.
oh yeah. But like when we talk about this, everyone keeps on telling us like, oh, like this is how your mana curve should be. Unfortunately, most of us disagree with that, because we know for a fact the average deck will have a certain mana curve, but we're seeing so many varieties that there's actually multiple types of mana curves. You just have to play according to the deck.
Well, that's just part of knowing your deck and stuff. In every deck, there is going to be a certain point where you power spike. Your deck is going to be the most strong at turn X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
For a token deck, it's usually turn 4 or 5, because that's when you're hitting most of your token doublers, unless you have an anointed possession. Yeah, exactly.
A dragon deck, it's usually turn 12.
Unless you ramp like crazy.
But that's just it,
There's
right?
some
like
green in there.
In like, let's even say an elf deck and stuff, right? If you turn 1 Llanowar Elf, turn 2 Llanowar Tribe, then you're hitting turn 3 if you're dropping a mana with 7 available mana. That's enormous.
Yeah.
Right?
Compared to
it's
something
huge.
else.
Yeah. So that's just you're looking at it that way, and your curve is how each deck is going to respond to what you're playing. You don't want to, and that's kind of, it also plays into how you're going to keep a hand. You don't want to keep a hand that has nothing playable for 6 turns just because your win con is in your hand.
Yeah.
Although
like,
we might try it just for fun.
Well, like even on like to that end, yesterday when we were playing Magic, I drew I think 6 hands, and I had to keep mulliganing because I kept like one. I drew no land 3 draws in a row. It was really bad. Yeah. But before I decided that we were done with that deck, there were 3 hands where I had 1 mana and excellent mid to late game cards. But there's just no way.
Yeah. So a lot of people...
I mulliganed 3 decks.
I get it, but no, I mulliganed 6 times, and I was just like, okay, I'm like, we're gonna play something else.
Yeah, it's just how it goes sometimes.
Sometimes that's how it be.
Well, yeah, you just if you're playing, the more competitive you are, the more you want to things early. That's why there's a difference between like a Bayou and a Temple of Malady. They both, in essence, do the same thing. One is a scry, one's fetchable with it, but it's you're paying for the speed. The CMC just speeds that up. If you have turn 1 drops, there's people have done the statistics on it lots. Turn 1 Soul Ring is one of the strongest plays you can make because it speeds you up so much.
Yeah.
So, that's why so many people run it.
Yeah.
Should be in every deck.
Oh,
it should.
Disagree.
Let's not go down that direction again.
1 second. It should be, but it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
It's good in every deck, but you can make a deck without it.
Yeah. Or like if you're going to build something like around Devotion or something like that, then maybe not. Like who knows? It depends on the deck, right? But that's besides the point.
Devotion-based decked in colorless.
Yeah, right?
Could you imagine a colorless Devotion deck?
Yeah. Nyx.
What would be the point of that?
No, but like a colorless god.
They'd have to make
You know
one.
what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Your
It's
Like a
Devotion
waste
to colorless?
god? Like
It's
that?
Emrakul.
Oh.
I mean,
But it'd be so...
like lore-wise, they did like...
It's like, it cannot be a god unless you have Devotion greater than 20 colors.
I mean,
Unless you have Annihilator 15.
Forgotten
Devotion
Gods.
to Annihilator.
disgusting.
But could you imagine? Okay, let's just
Okay, we're gonna pause here for a
let's just
second.
take a
Yeah,
tangent. Let's
okay,
just
yeah.
imagine when we go back to Zendikar. I know that like they've kind of said that they're not going to do anything with Eldrazi, which I'm kind of like really like distraught
Good.
about.
Well, the
But-
only remaining Eldrazi Titan isn't even on Zendikar.
I know
It's
it's
on
on
the moon.
Innistrad.
Yeah. Congratulations on the lore. We
But
get it.
anyways, but like, could you imagine if they're just like? Also, you don't know that that's the only Eldrazi Titan. That's the
That is
only
the only
Eldrazi Titan
remaining
you
Titan
know.
we know.
know of, yeah.
I hope there's more.
Could you imagine?
That would be awesome.
No, I don't even want to imagine this. No,
We're
more
gonna. That's a
Annihilator.
whole other episode.
Okay. Sorry, I just. But
Anyways,
like, if they
back to Mana
But could
Curve.
you imagine if there was like a devotion colorless Eldrazi god?
Back mana curve.
Strong though. But
Okay,
anyways, okay.
sorry,
So
squirrels.
we're gonna talk about the mana curve. We're gonna talk about
Pretty unicorn.
what? Okay, we're gonna talk about 5 different types of mana curves here. Okay, that's right. You heard it. 5. Okay, there's technically a little bit more, but these are the 5 most common ones, and this is what we come up with. Okay, so the first one we have, it's very very simple. This is the one that most people have when they first start playing Commander. All right, it's just a mana curve where you have a few 1s, 2, and 3 drops, and then you have a lot of 4, 5, 6s and all that stuff. So it
The
plateaus.
big bombs, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Most of us when we
Mono green
started
deck.
playing. Sorry.
So drop big things.
Every mono green
Yeah.
deck, yeah.
Yeah. But this is when you think back about it. Okay, when you're first playing Commander, when you build a deck, you keep on hearing Commander's about playing the big bombs, right? So you're gonna put in the few things like the mana ramp cards and whatever. You're gonna put in a few 1s, 2s, and 3s, but most of your cards are gonna be in the 4, 5, 6 slots. Okay, and like this is what I see a lot of when I run into people that are very
New
new
players.
to the game. They're new players or whatever, or they're getting into Commander. Because they always hear that you're playing big bombs. That's all Commander's about. But
Yeah, it's not fast, so don't worry. It'll get to a late
I think I
game.
only have maybe 2 to 3,
like 6 costs.
6 and
plus.
7 costs.
Yeah,
But that's because you've played more, right?
Yeah.
I think most of my decks sit at most of the spells being around.
Hope's just
3.
covering her face. Thinking about dragons.
Yeah. But like
Yeah,
when I
drafting.
first started.
Cries in 7 CMC.
Oh yeah. When I
Or
first
like
started
cries
like
in
that.
10 CMC.
Well, but you're smart. You actually have the mana ramp in the card draw to get to everything, right? And that's the difference. And we'll cover that later on too, because we have mana curves.
I
for that.
am smart. Thank you for recognizing.
See. See.
I love being complimented.
I disagree. Anyways,
So, anyways, okay, but like here's the problem with this first type. Okay, like we've all done this before. Okay, and for a beginner, it's a good attempt. Okay,
Yeah.
it's not like it's super optimized, super focused, or anything. It's just
But like, it'll work.
it'll work. Okay, the biggest problem
Yes.
the biggest problem with this one is just that you're gonna mulligan a lot. Cause
yeah,
you're gonna have a lot
if
of
you
dead
hit those
cards.
high cost ones.
Yeah.
It's a really good example of a deck like this is Kalia. I run
Oh,
I run a
yes.
mana curve like this in Kalia. I have a ton of huge bombs, a bunch of things in the 7 to 8 range
Because she only
I'm
costs
trying
4.
because
Yeah,
I'm
and you
trying to
swing
cheat
it.
her in. So I do
Yeah.
have the lower ramp, but I have the higher end. Without Kalia's ability, though, I'm stuck with nothing in my hand for
Yeah.
a lot of turns. If
Yeah.
I can't get Kalia out or she's removed early,
Ugh.
then it
That hurts.
really does
Oh, yeah.
wreck that deck.
That puts
right?
you behind 2
Yeah,
more turns,
exactly.
until you can do anything. And it
Yeah,
is
until you can bring her
brutal.
out to die again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So-
yeah, 3 more turns. Cast her and then try to attack with her. It's super nasty.
Yeah. So that's the first type. So we'll just skip that because it's very, very simple, very,
Yeah,
very easy.
very straightforward.
Very
Well, you
straightforward.
did actually put on it as well there. We kind of glazed over that part. You will have a lot of dead cards in your hand with
Yeah.
this and everything.
Yeah.
It's if you have that CMC of, I would say, 4 or higher as your average, a lot of games you will have dead cards in your hand.
Do you want hands? My favorite hands in a CMC like this? All lands.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you draw 5 lands and a bunch of 4
I
costs,
am keeping
you're
that.
okay.
Just dump
Yeah.
them in. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
keeping it.
Now, the second type of curve is the one that everyone eventually goes to. Okay, this is the one that everyone talks about, saying like you want sort of like a bell curve, and it's probably like I say 3/4 of decks that are out there follow this kind of curve. And it's just a regular mana curve, regular bell curve. Okay, so it looks like it should look like a hill or a mountain, stuff like that. Yeah, I use my hands a lot. La, 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 la. Oh, okay. So, but once again, like this you see a transition here, okay? Most people go from the first type to the second type of mana curve.
Yeah.
As they're playing more Magic, they're getting used to it, they're understanding the game more. They know that, like, they want to power up their deck, and the first thing to do to power up your deck is to adjust your mana curve.
Yeah, to make it more
I think
playable.
the first thing that they're seeing too is those really quick decks are getting the hits in on them really quick
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
fast.
And
so
you
they're
have
like,
to adjust for
okay,
that.
I need to have some answers in those first couple turns, at least a few more, so I have the chance of drawing them.
Yeah.
So I
There's-
have blockers.
There is definitely a feeling you get at the table when someone's Soul Ring pass, Land of War Elf pass. I will play an Altar of the Brood pass, and I'm like, tapped land
Yeah.
pass.
Scrywad.
It's
Temple of
different.
Triumph, because I'm playing
Guild
Boros for
Gate.
some reason.
Oh boy.
Throw this out here. Temple of Abaddon.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's like
Abandoned. But
Abandoned.
last night, no, this is a...
Someone was saying Abaddon.
Yeah, Temple of Abaddon.
That is amazing.
That's great.
boy.
I really quick before we do that, how do you go about correcting people? Because a lot of people do say things wrong, and I don't want to just like come across as a jerk.
I snicker
yeah.
and go with it.
No, I just bring up the question. It's like, is it this or is? I heard it was this.
One of our friends deliberately just pronounces words wrong, and Hope and I just have started doing it all the time. So anything with menace, we always call it Menache.
Menache, yeah.
Or Trambample.
Yeah. I only call it Trambample. Burgeoning is Burger King. And to the point that, like, sometimes I'll be in a game with people that I'm not super familiar with, and I'll have to, like, rein myself in and be like, sorry, it's not Menache, it's Menace. I apologize. Menache is not...
Menache is so much better.
Yeah. But like,
But yeah, it's just habit now.
yeah, and that's fine. But like, if someone's pronouncing something that you don't agree with, you can just be like I would literally just bring up questions like, is it pronounced this way or pronounced this way? Because I heard it this way, not that way. You know,
Fair,
like
fair.
I heard it's supposed to be Island, not Island. Though.
Oh, I
Or-
always call them Islands.
Or you could do something like
Never heard
asking if it's a different card because you thought
Yeah.
because if somebody says the card that way, then it's like Temple of Abandon.
Newfound Island.
Oh, I call things the Islands all the time.
Yeah.
But
Volcanic Isle.
Atilmatok.
Yeah, Atilmatok.
What?
Yeah.
The Itlamok.
Oh,
A lot of people call it Atilmatok. They throw in a whole lot of extra eyes. We're again getting off topic here.
Oh boy. Okay, so that's the first type. That's the second type. Okay, second type we're not gonna go into too often, but it's basically like we said, most people have this kind of mana curve. People talk about this constantly of how you should have this kind of mana curve. Yada yada yada. Don't care. Moving on. Okay.
Wow, rude.
It's true, because like everyone talks about it so much. I don't care. I want to talk about the other ones.
Well, we also want to say the same thing. With that average curve, you are going to have a lot less dead cards. It is going to be more play. You're going to be safer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Very
but
safe.
safe also isn't the most fun. Safe is just safe.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's okay.
So third type, okay, this is the one I personally like to do a lot and everything. It's like weenie decks or decks with high amounts of low CMC cards. Okay, you'll see this probably a little bit more in CEDH.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
Because people are dropping
Low or zero cost.
yeah, so they're just dropping things like crazy. But like you're gonna see in like white weenies, goblins, merfolks, elves. Most of these have very very low soldiers. Like these are very very low CMC costs. Okay, so these ones they're gonna see like
Show me an ornithopter.
yeah, like up to CMC 3, okay? Like the CMC slot 1, 2, and 3, okay? Let's say that's going to be like 50% of your deck,
Oh yeah.
all right?
Easy.
And the rest is going to be like maybe like a few of like 4, 5, 6s, like maybe a handful, all right? But that's not the goal because most of these are like, you know, like an elf ball or whatever. You don't care. You're just dropping things. They're going to get big with all the other lords, and you just like...
Yeah,
you know,
they
run
want to.
through.
You want to get them out as quick as possible. You
Yeah.
want to. You know that other people are going to maybe have, like, you may Hope's playing the dragon deck. You know that if she gets to turn 12 and she finally hits 5 mana, that she's gonna have a real banger out.
well, like there's the Dragon Speaker Shaman to at least reduce.
Yeah, I've got the
Dragon's
Dragon Speaker Shaman, Earth's Incubator.
Yeah.
Like I've got it
Belby's
all.
Portal.
I've got it all.
Yeah.
I just don't
Heraldhorn.
draw it.
No, I do.
But that's...
I'm the only person that plays a dragon deck that can have like a 7-cost dragon out on turn 4
That's
Yeah.
true. That's scary.
easily.
She's the only person.
Easily.
All it takes is a little creativity. $4,000 of dual lands.
Daddy Sarkhan.
Yeah, Daddy Sarkon.
But
All
like,
it takes is extreme shopping around for duels.
Extreme
Shock
cat.
lands
no.
Modern problems require modern solutions.
require
Yeah.
vintage solutions.
That is good.
That was good.
That's good. Oh man. Okay, so but What's the third type of curve? Okay, these are the strengths. It's fast. Okay, but what the weaknesses for these tend to be that card draw is very limited.
Yeah.
To like either rummaging or something along those lines. Or like once if you're playing against someone that's inexperienced.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say they're playing someone that's playing an elf deck, and I see
Yeah.
this constantly. They'll have all the elves in their hand, and they drop them all, and they don't keep any back. They don't sandbag, and then you board wipe, and they just sit there for the rest of the game
And
being
With
smashed.
nothing in their hand
Yeah.
because they've already
Yeah.
dumped it all. Or if they are, after, a turn 5 board wipe against an elf deck is kind of, you beat the elf deck.
Yeah.
There's not many ways to come back against it because, you're sitting there and what am I going to do? Turn 5 into the game? Oh, I've drawn. How do I pronounce that? I've drawn a Finborn elf.
Yeah. Woo-hoo.
Yay!
Yeah.
But like the Priest of Titania, the Azuri, everything is in the graveyard.
graveyard.
You gotta,
Dump down
there's
a
green recursion.
Maybe
you gotta
have an
that in
Eternal
there.
Witness.
You have
No.
you have the green recursion, but the green recursion doesn't black mass recurs creatures from the grave.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Not green. Green can bring me back a
Target
card.
it.
I can get a priest back. I can get a.
There's the
Yeah, I can
something
reroll.
wishes where you one and X and bring, or one and XX and bring back X amount of.
Wildest dreams.
If you have all that mana,
Yeah, but like
I
once
don't
again, most of your mana from elves are from the elves themselves.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I've seen a lot
broke
of people.
intervention, leave my stuff alone.
I've seen a lot of people build an elf deck with like a 29 or 30 land base because you don't need land.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
I've fell into that mistake.
Yeah, and
So I want the more elves.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. You
Because
gotta
you get your mana from the elves. Like, they
Yeah.
are your mana source.
but that's the thing though.
mo
like,
elves, mo problems.
Yeah, but it is like a weedy deck. You can pump things out very, very quickly and everything. But like you need to like with this third mana curve. When you have these like small these kind of decks, you have to like sandbag a bit. You have to worry about card draw more because you're dropping things so fast. By turn 8 or 9, unless like
You have no hand.
you have no hand.
Yeah.
And you get real excited.
Yeah.
Well, it is really exciting too, as we're talking about
To go off.
Yeah, you're curving out. If you're playing spells turn 1 through 5, you're doing really good.
Mm-hmm.
You got something turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. There's a lot of people that have to pass because they just don't have anything to do.
Yeah.
Brian dropped Altar of the Brood the other day. I was playing
I
Corval.
hate you with that.
He ended up hitting 4 of my lands nearly in a row with it, and I couldn't do anything. I only had 3 lands on deck till around turn 7.
I heard
Yeah.
about that when he came home. Hilarious.
Oh, someone was salty.
Oh man.
I was texting Hope during the game. I was like, I'm a salty boy right now. And she's like, wow, what's going on? I was like, I'll tell you later.
I don't want to talk about it.
I was being bullied is what was going on.
Yeah.
But that is, I had made that deck to basically function on having more lands. And without those lands, I did have a ton of dead cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and like on top of that, like with those weenie decks, okay, or low CMC that cost decks, like you have to find ways to bounce back. Okay, so like as we know, is very, very hard. If you have like Krenko, even Krenko's hard if he keeps on dying.
Yeah, Krenko without goblins on the board is not scary. It's Krenko when you have 15 goblins on the
Yeah.
board.
That's when it gets scary.
Or
yeah.
36 like yesterday. That was very.
Who was playing a goblin deck yesterday?
Dean. Dean was playing goblins,
Ooh.
which then I slaughtered him with my sapperlings.
Oh, mood.
Ooh,
Sapperling City.
Saprolines, yeah.
Sapperling's for life, honestly.
Were you playing Slimefoot?
No, I was playing my green white enchantment deck.
Oh, nice.
So then I
How'd you
dropped
get
out.
Sapperling?
The one
Michaela?
that makes a sapperling every turn.
Oh,
Garden
Tennessee
Force?
Dryad.
Yeah, Tender Shoot.
Oh, Tendershoot's good.
Yeah.
With
But then I played.
Tendershoot's better than Verdant Force, to be honest.
yeah.
Then I played the other, the spell that destroys all other creatures of X is greater than 5, and I create that many 1/1.
Martial Coup.
So all my stuff was already indestructible from Avacyn, so I dropped
Oh,
39.
nice.
I dropped 39s with Cathar's Crusade out, which then gave
That's
all my
gross.
other creatures out on the field 39.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
It was very fun.
Very well played.
That's
Very
good.
fun.
Okay, so that's the third type is weenies and everything.
This next type is my favorite.
The fourth type, okay.
Oh, yes.
So this
Oh,
one's
yeah.
more like kind of like a valley or something like that, okay? But like you have a fairly high amount of like 1-2 drops in it. You have very low 3-4s, and then like you're going back up again for 5-6s and all that stuff. So it's sort of like a valley. It kind of dips and it goes back up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. And
You want the early. You don't really care about your mid game in this.
No.
No. You
No.
want and you're gonna do so many things early on just to ramp up to those other ones, right? So, Kalia is one of them that you've mentioned before, where you want to get Kalia out and then you want to drop those big ones.
The Animar.
Animar is the most popular for this.
Animar, Muldrotha. I love to reanimate in Muldrotha, the same
A
thing.
lot of, like, Carador, Marin,
can
those ones are like...
bring back all
Marin
those
does
cheap
the-
costing items from your grave, then
Yeah. Because you keep on...
Fetched a Jingitaxis with an animate dead.
Ew.
Yeah.
Feels
But yeah, Marin
good.
and Animar and Kalia are all decks that play.
Or the same thing, not even a creature-based one. Sherman has written down here, Mizzix. Another thing where you
Yes.
can... That's the experience, is it one? Where
For cast instant or sorcery spells, as you cast it, if the higher mana
yes.
cost is... Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Experience
So
term.
it's cheating it out, just not creatures.
Yeah.
But same concept.
Same principle. Is that you're just...
You're
just
finding
pushing
a
for
way
that.
around the high CMC.
Yeah. So you're,
Essentially.
in the end, you're just cheating out high CMC stuff.
The fourth type as well, it also encompasses decks like my Selvala one. That is, it's the Selvala Explorer Selesnya deck. And it's half elves for that ramp. Elves, Birds of Paradise, that kind of stuff. And then half enormous cost angels. And not very many 3 or 4 drops like in between. It's a lot of very, very low end and a very high 6+.
That's
Yeah.
a very interesting way to play, though, because that used to be Shyla, right?
Yeah, it did
Yeah,
used to be.
yeah.
okay.
Which is like an interesting, again, like a very interesting like way to play angels. You know, it's very cool.
That's very annoying because you have all that mana to dump into 1/1 counter.
Well, that's why I used to play it with Shylai.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
just found... I honestly think that Selvala is one of the best commanders in that color.
Yeah. Oh,
Just-
yeah.
Especially the bigger the game gets, the stronger she is. I've seen Brian, he has one as well. I've seen him sit in 6-player games and hit 6 non-land cards in the reveal, so he gets 6 life,
mana.
6 mana.
Yeah.
And that's gross on turn 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
It really is.
It's real strong to be able to... if he has the 3 mana to get Selvala out and then he taps for that, that's 9 mana on turn 3 or 4 of the game.
And if 2 of those are white, then I can drop like any of my big angels to stop me from sacrificing.
That happened to me.
Yeah,
with,
turn 4 Avacyn.
Yeah, that happened to me last night in the game because Hope you were in the game was when I was playing Estrid. So what happened is I had Smothering Tithe out. Okay, so I had
And Rhystic Study.
Selvala.
Oh, and that's
Yeah.
the other thing. Brian
And
has
Rhystic Study.
tied out in every game.
Yeah.
So I
Brian's
tested.
playing mono blue and it's somehow in that deck.
I have a problem.
Yes, you do.
Brian's
But,
just drawing islands over the plane symbol.
But I had Selvala. I had everyone parlay. They drew the cards, and then I got the stuff from Smothering Tide. Plus, I had a Paralyzed and Doubling Season out.
So good.
So every
So-
time anybody drew
Drew a
for
card,
Selvala,
I
he
got
got 4 treasure tokens.
Right? And then I
So
was,
every turn he was getting 12 treasure tokens
Yeah,
because
but I also-
nobody's paying.
and I also
No,
had
I'd rather die.
Yeah, and I also had
Yeah, I never
the
pay.
new Heliod out.
Yeah.
And the game life you put a +1/+1 counter on.
So all of his stuff was like 84, 84.
yeah. So
Disgusting.
It all
Yeah.
got bounced.
and it got bounced,
Amazing.
but I kept on going. I milled the person out.
It's
ended-
so fast.
Yeah,
Like,
I
it
ended
didn't
up
matter.
scooping because
Zoom,
I'm just like I
zoom.
could kill you guys in 5 different ways.
Should have prestiged.
Yeah.
That's basically what he did. He had to leave, and he's just like, took his bowed and took his leave.
Yeah, I took.
And
No
then,
one can see you
and
did
then
the
I won.
gentleman bow.
Yeah, yeah. And then I got to win.
The best way, just Armageddon. All right, guys, I'm out.
Have fun.
You guys finish this one up.
Yeah. But this pork type is the next most common one we see and everything. Especially
This
the
is
most-
my other favorite.
Yeah. So Anmar Eldrazi is the most common one I see for this as well for the dip. But
Well, it's also like you said, it's things that can ramp really hard.
Yeah.
If you can anything that has green ramps. If you're not playing green ramp, then what are you doing with green cards in your deck anyways?
That's true.
yeah.
If you do not have a land war in a green color deck, you have something.
That's an auto include in anyone. A 1-drop 1
Free mana.
Yeah.
free real
As,
estate.
as much as I
And
make
blocker.
fun of green, as much as I make fun of green, whenever I do
Blocks with
play
Atlanta
green,
War.
oh,
How offensive. You're both wrong.
I've also attacked with it.
Yeah, I also
with
attacked
Atlanta
with
War.
it.
You're both wrong.
I think that attacking with Atlanta
Both
War
the mana
is
spud.
more disrespectful than attacking with a bop.
why?
No way.
Because
Killing
you're hitting
people
for
with the
0.
New deck idea, just equip Eldrazi's Conscription to Birds of Paradise.
No, but I think it's funny because people almost expect you to, like, if you put a
Fear the
1/1,
bird.
if you're able to get like a 1/1 on a bird, people almost expect you to attack with it because of the memes.
Yeah.
But like nobody ever attacks with the Llanowar. That's not what it's about.
Yeah, because they have a brain.
Yeah, I think it's hilarious.
That's Llanowwar's so good. Why would you? I guess if they're open.
So funny. Yeah,
That's the only reason.
that's it.
But
It's
still,
for the memes.
I don't know. I'd rather just tap it for mana.
Yeah,
Even
Brian
have nothing to
gets it.
cast. Even if there's nothing there.
Just let it.
just
let
tap,
it
just drain my mana.
Yeah, my turn starts. I'll put one in the.
Okay.
I love doing that when people go to their end stuff. I'm like, response, and I just put some mana in. I'm like, all right,
All right, you gonna do anything with it? No.
Pass.
that's it. Good.
I do that a lot, but I also play with a lot of things like Pristine Talisman and stuff, so I still gain the life and everything.
I like to sit there and just like make it look like, especially playing blue. I'm like on every cast. I'm like,
Yeah.
they're like, you have no cards in your hand. That's
Still do abilities.
Yeah, I love just sitting there. Just I'll let it resolve.
allow it.
Yeah.
I'm holding just an island.
Yeah.
Everyone's asking me permission. It's nice.
It's great. It's great. It's
You won't count
great
it?
political move.
I guess I won't.
Yeah. All right.
But no, yeah, it's anything like Animar. A lot of those decks they do have the downside, like we said, of losing the thing that lets you cheat. If your whole point is to try and Elvish Piper cards out and you don't have the Elvish Piper anymore, it's a problem.
It's kind of pointless.
But like that's one of the reasons that I like Marin the most. That's one of the reasons I like Marin the most out of these like examples is because
Experience
it's based
counters
on
are so good.
Yeah, it's based on
And they don't
experience
go away.
counters and they don't go away. Whereas like if somebody counters the Animar or destroys the Animar, you lose all of the 1/1s. If
Yeah, you're just
somebody
kinda like,
if somebody gets rid of Kalia, same, then you have to get her out again and get through the turn if you don't have haste. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot
Yeah,
harder.
Kalia is a target.
Yeah, whereas
She is a
Marin
magnet for removal.
yeah, whereas Marin just has to
Always.
be on the field.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah, if you have removal in your hand and you let Kalia swing, you're out of your mind.
Yeah, you're crazy.
Unless you're letting it swing at someone else. And you're
Yeah,
like,
in which case, do whatever you want to do.
No, because once you go to combat, you can't choose to go back. If you let them go to combat with Kalia and they swing at you, you can't respond to it. The attack trigger still happens.
It's true, but you can try to convince them to attack someone else and then worry about their stuff later.
Best political message: hey man, can you not?
Yeah. Here's their second option. No.
He has that card out.
Yeah, go for that. Okay, let's go.
We're playing a 1v1.
Goodness. We're going to talk about one more type here, and then we're going to talk about things to adjust your mana curve, okay? So
Yeah.
the very last mana curve we want to talk about real quickly here is extremely high casting cost decks that you can cheat out or won't cheat out stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't cheat.
Me. Dragons.
I don't cheat.
Yeah.
Ramp. Attack.
Yeah, so like
Kill.
your curve is way
Savage
off.
Bent Maw.
Your curve is way off because you're going to have so many high 6, 7, 8s, and 9s and all that stuff, right? Like if we look at Tyrone when he came over, talk about his Joda
Yeah.
deck. Okay, how many like 6+ costs
No,
do you
his-
have? Like stupid like
Everything.
His Joda
20 or
deck
something
got
like that?
annihilated yesterday because he didn't have Joda out. I'm like, my dude.
Yeah.
Somebody said, oh, he's playing Joda. He's not really.
He's playing some spells,
Yeah.
so he just kept killing it.
Yeah, everyone.
Okay, good. Yeah, Joda's not very good
disrespect.
from the command zone.
Yeah.
No, not at all.
Very funny.
But
Anyway.
you'll see this a lot. Like if you can't cheat it out, it's like you'll see a lot of people playing like Eldrazi's like this, where they're just ramping as hard as they can again once more. But it's just like those. What? All I have to say is Eldrazi, and everyone's like, no.
Eldrazi's the best. No,
Everybody
I'm nodding.
looks
I'm
at
into
me.
it.
That's the thing. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
everyone
don't-
looks at Hope for the Eldrazi deck I built.
I'm like, chill.
I just shake my
but
head.
I play it.
Just
That's true.
That's the thing.
Yeah, because I have a soul.
Yeah. Well,
But yeah,
I'm
no,
not
it's,
a bad person.
I think Annihilator's fun.
No.
But like this type of mana curve, like it does work. We've seen it work many times. You just have to cater your deck around it. You can't just be like there's no like card draw, no land fetches, no.
It
mana
works
ramp.
in certain situations. You can't do this in every deck.
No. Okay. But that's the thing. Like we have these different types of mana curve because they all fall into a certain type of deck, right?
Yeah.
And that's what people have to understand that.
Not everything works for everything. Like
Yeah.
there are different ways to structure your decks and structure your mana curve based on what you're playing. Like you would never try to like you wouldn't play Marin to play elves.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like
so-
Yeah, you don't want to try recur up Birds of Paradise to the field with counters.
I mean, I've done it.
Yeah, but not when you have 12 counters and 100 cards in the graveyard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pointless.
Bring them all back. I don't know.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, these Baron.
Oh, the creatures when you bring it back, yeah. No, yeah, it's you want to do that. It's the same thing, right? It's I guess I was going to say with Muldrotha, but it's the same thing. We've seen Muldrotha can be played a lot of different ways, but if you're going a reanimator strategy and then you want huge creatures.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No one's running Shouldered from the grave, like a Shouldered deck to just like sit there and play like a Grave Crawler.
Yeah.
What does Shoulder do?
That's you bring a creature back from your graveyard every
It's
upkeep.
the black praetor.
I know it's a Black Predator, but I just don't ever
The
see it like in play.
Whispering one.
I know what she looks like.
Yes.
But
I have it
no.
in my Scarab God.
So good.
Basically, you reanimate something every turn.
Oh, tight.
Yeah.
Love that.
But like, if you have something like that, you're not going to bring back
Ray of the
something like.
Dawnbringer.
Sorry.
It's like Ray of the Dawnbringer.
Yeah.
You know what I've
Every
just
upkeep.
thought? I want them to do a secret lair of the Praetors.
That.
That
Oh my
would be-
god.
Oh, that'd
So-
be nice.
Oh
That'd
my
be-
god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
With them
then you
doing
can
more
finally
Mormon-
make that Commander Vorinclex.
I'd have to,
No!
but at what cost?
No!
My friendships, that's
Yeah.
what cost.
Yeah.
I think I've mentioned it before,
You
but
have.
for anyone who's never heard it on that, we saw a thread, and it was just like, what are your least favorite commanders to play against? And someone's like, Vorinclex. I was like, why would anyone play that as a commander? What happened to them as a child?
Who hurt you?
Yeah, who did this to you?
No, it's really funny.
I've
But,
literally played Jin-Jitaxis as a commander, and it's still not even as bad as that.
Yeah.
At least he's 10 mana
But
in
yeah.
blue.
But if
Yeah.
if they did do a secret lair of the Predators, that would be
Well,
would
with
be
the
real.
Phyrexian writing? Oh, could you imagine?
Oh.
Buddy.
and like other like Phyrexian things, like if they did like all the Predators, but then they Yawgmoth and like Karn and all these other
Oh, that'd be really cool.
That would be really
just like
cool.
Phyrexian stuff, like Predators and whatnot, and then also just like different like mirrors and
At this
just
point
like
in
both
time-
sides.
At this point in time, you might as well like reprint like a bunch of planeswalkers and do the stained glass planeswalkers with.
I do think we're going to see more of those stained glass ones.
Yeah.
That'd be everything.
And a lot of those, let's be honest, there's no real time where it's, oh yeah, this was the most popular time of Magic. Everyone gets in at different times
Yeah.
and stuff, right? And some things just are not really accessible because of the time.
Yeah.
So maybe everyone who owns an original Jace the Mind Sculptor doesn't want a secret lair Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Yeah.
But people who weren't around to get them and
Me.
don't want to spend $130 on
Me.
a normal, not foil Jace.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's just, there's a lot of the old Liliana, the original,
Yeah.
there's a lot of really good planeswalkers that just have not really, they were at the time not included. They were very, very rare to get in packs.
Yeah.
And that's back to Zendikar, like that's
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
OG.
Sherman's age.
All I'm saying too also though is like return to New Phyrexia.
That'd be interesting.
Could be cool. There's a lot of interesting
So,
ones.
Really cool. All I'm saying is that Elspeth is out and about doing her
Yeah,
thing.
it's true.
Let's do it.
Liberate.
Let's go back. Bring back Mirrodin.
Speaking of, we should bring back the topic.
Sorry, I'm excited.
Because well, that's okay.
Whatever. I get so excited
we talk about stuff. We like magic for a reason.
All I'm saying
Squirrel.
is that the lore is now allowing for a return to Phyrexia.
Return to
To
return
Mirrodin.
to return to return to Ravnica.
Yes. Yeah.
Nicol Bolas breaks out of his psychic jail or
Yeah.
whatever.
Love that.
Yeah.
Ooh, yes.
Return to the spirit realm. They bring Ravnica to the plane. To Ugin.
Ooh.
Tugin?
Ugin.
Oh boy. Okay. So those are about 5 types of mana curves that we
I don't think
see.
you talked about the 5th one.
Yes, you
Yeah, we
did.
did.
Did we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like nothing but like pure like high spells.
Big, strong.
Yeah.
That was like 20 minutes
Ramp.
ago.
That was before
That
Return
was
to Return.
pre-Phyrexia.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Pre-Phyrexia. Just a little pre.
Like we only really touched on them like all these different types a little bit just because like this is what they are. This is what decks that you see in each of them. Okay, but
Yeah.
like we only want to touch on those and talk about them just to like be like, hey
Just
guys,
a kind of
are-
quick, a
Yeah.
quick overview.
Now, this is what we really want to talk about, okay? Things to consider when you're adjusting your mana curve and ways to lower your mana curve. That's where the main focus should be for anyone that looks into adjusting their mana curve, okay? So, things to consider when you're adjusting your mana curve. First thing is the requirement of mana for activations or activation costs.
Yeah, you need to sink mana into your cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, like I've talked about this a few times before, like how I have like 2 mana curves when I build my decks. Okay, one was just the actual casting cost, and one where I would have to shift the mana cost depending on it, right? So like Storm Tamer Siren, for example,
Yep.
is a 1 blue or a blue mana cost for a 1/1 where you tap a blue and sacrifice it to counter a target spell that targeting one of your things. Okay, like if you cast it on turn 1. Not a big deal, because not many things are being cast on turn 1.
Right.
Yeah, not much to do.
Yeah, so who cares, okay? So you can cast it, you can
I
bring
care.
it on turn 1, it's not a big deal, right? Hey, yo, what up? Okay, but if you have a Glendalendra, okay, it's a 4 cost, 3 and a blue.
But
You're
you
not-
do need an extra mana to do things with it.
Yeah, so you're not going to cast it on turn 4 just to have someone, like, destroy it, and then, like, you don't get a single activation of countering a spell.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
had that
is true.
yesterday even. Like,
Yeah.
there's a card in one of my decks that, like, it's only a 4-cost creature, but its activation cost it affects an entire tribe.
Yeah.
But it's 5 cost.
Yeah.
So I didn't play it on turn 4 because it doesn't make any sense. It's a waste of a turn.
Yeah,
Like, it's
so-
still kind of a dead card.
Well, a Kasali Pride Mage is another example. It's a
Yeah.
3-cost card, but it's not
but
a
it's
3
2-cost
cost
activation.
Yeah, exactly. You need.
Yeah.
I think it's 1. isn't
One?
it?
1-cost activation.
Regardless, you need.
It's
you
a
need the extra
2-cost
mana.
card. It's just Celestia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, whatever it is, it's
Either
still
way.
it's you need
It's a
something
turn
to do with
3
it.
drop
And if
because
it's
you
your,
want
if
the
it's your
Celestia
removal
and your-
answer,
Yeah.
then you don't want to play it before you can use it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing though. Like when you look at those kind of cards, are you gonna put it like for that one? Are you gonna put it in slot number 3 for slot CMC 3, or are you gonna put it in slot CMC 5? That's where I have the separate mana curve.
Yeah, exactly
I'm not
what it
gonna
actually
play
is.
it on 3.
I do that a lot actually with X spells. I decide in my
Yeah.
head that I will not cast this card for under X. You know, I'm not going to Genesis Wave for 3. I'm not a lunatic.
Yeah. So you put it up on the
Try
scale.
it sometime.
No, that'd be horrible.
The lowest I've ever generated for is 6. I feel that.
Yeah, like so if you're doing it for 6, that's in your 9 cost, right?
Yeah.
Because it's the 3 green. Yeah, you don't want to drop things exactly like you were saying for that. You don't want to see that it's like Torment of Hailfire would never sit in like a 2-cost slot.
No.
No.
That's not what it is.
Yeah, because you want to
wanna get a good
dump
number.
12 into that.
Yeah, you want it to finish the game or wipe the board so that it helps you finish the game,
Yeah.
right? But I do the same thing for counter spells. Like even counter spell itself is blue, right? I'm not putting that in the 2 slot because how many things am I going to counter
On turn 2?
On turn 2. On top of that, why do I want to keep up 2 mana just to try to counter something that is not affecting the board that much when I can put in some sort of mana ramp card or something else that's defensive? No, I'm going to move that counterspell up to a CMC 5, let's say. Because then I can still cast a 2 or a 3 drop if I need to, and still have mana up to counter something. And on turn 5, that's when bigger things come out. That's where I will most likely use it more. And because of this, I'm going to have more 2s and 3s, so I can have that 2 mana open during turn 5 and 6 and onwards, just for that reason. So, and this is something that people need to consider. That counter spell doesn't go in the CMC 3. That Pride Mate doesn't go in CMC 3. You know, like you have to move it up. Okay, and like you said with X spell, same deal. All right, you're not gonna cast a Torment of Hellfire in turn 2 or 3. That's pointless. So,
I mean, you could.
yeah.
If you're an animal.
If you're-
Certain circumstances might make you have to drop that early.
Well, if you do look at it though, right? A card we talk about all the time, Psych Rift. You're not
Yes.
generally going to include it in your 2 mana.
Oh, I count that as a 7 drop.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right? Like
Well,
when
that's
you're looking
really
at it,
what it is.
when you're looking at it, that's what you want it for. Sure, you can play it earlier if you needed to,
But nobody's going to.
but you're going to hold it until, short of losing the game on turn whatever 2 or 3, you're going to save that card.
Yeah.
So true. So, and then on top of that, on top of that, we still have to consider things that are mana sinks or mana dumps. Okay, so if I have like a Ant Queen, all right, where I only have to pay 2 mana, like I have to pay 1 in a green to, I think it's just 2 mana to make a 1/1 ant
Yep.
insect. That's it. Okay. Do I want to keep mana up for something else, or do I want to put into that, or do I want, am I gonna cast this one creature, or do I want to create more tokens? So there's things like that you have to consider. It's like, okay, if every single creature I have has an activation cost,
Yeah.
then I need more
That
lands. I need
jacks
more
your CMC. Like it makes it just adds like a huge spike.
Having a mana sink is a good thing to have.
Yeah, totally. Because you don't want to have like wasted like.
Yeah, you want to be able to do stuff with your mana. There's nothing worse than saving.
They're not doing anything.
Yesterday, I saved a destroy creature spell for 2 turns because I didn't have enough mana with Corvold to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
So that was my defense if anyone came at me, and I just sat there saving it, and I played nothing for 2 turns. It's brutal.
Yeah.
As you should.
But like when you consider these things, like it allows you to adjust your mana as well, like how many lands you put into your deck, right? So if you're putting in less lands, that means you have more slots for spells.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So instead of like let's say like, oh, like, you know, I have no mana ramp cards, but like I keep on having like getting mana flooded because I have 40 lands in my deck. Okay, fine. Let's reduce it down to like 36, but put in 4 mana ramp cards instead, and you're gonna find that, you know, you're not gonna get mana flooded, but you're gonna ramp sometimes. So instead of playing something on turn 4, or you're playing something that you would normally play on turn 5 on turn 4 instead.
And honestly, I think being mana flooded is worse than being mana screwed. Like,
Yes.
it's so rough to draw 6 lands in a row because you're just like, oh, come on.
I'm like, I just want to play Magic.
Yeah.
Right?
that's why you need to put in more card draw.
Sitting there with 13 lands on deck and nothing to cast
Oof.
Yeah, that's nasty.
feels bad.
Oh yeah.
Sure does.
So, but these are things to consider. Same thing, like, it's not just creature spells too. It's also things like, you know, with kicker and whatnot. You know, or like Cyclonic, what we're talking about.
Kicker, Entwine, overload.
Yeah. So these are a
Put
lot
them
of
in
things.
for their mana. They're those abilities that you're going to be casting.
Well, it all
for
depends
instead of-
how you plan to play it, right?
Yeah.
If you know that a lot of the time that you're going to be overloading whatever card, then that's the cost to consider, not just what's printed in the top corner.
Yeah. Or that I'm always going to kick something 4 times. Like if it's got a multi-kicker.
Yep.
If I know that I'm going to kick it no more than 4 times, I have to consider that it's actually like a 10 cost spell.
Yeah. Another thing to think about, okay, for adjusting the mana curve, okay, is finding, like, how can I say it? Like, you know, like we always say, mana card draw, early card draw is a real key thing here. So who cares about things like Howling Mine? Howling Mine helps everyone, yeah, but you're also being everyone's friend.
I care.
Well, if I'm casting a Howling Mine, you're getting from me. You're not gonna like just flat out and attack me, you know.
Our play group does. I helped so many people get shot in the foot numerous times.
It's true.
Jinkataxis on your group hug deck.
I think you took it out finally.
Yeah, you did.
finally-
You?
Long time ago.
But people listen to the
But
podcast.
the
and
scars
still-
remain.
Yeah, the scars remain.
Yeah. So
I'm sorry, Brian.
That's all good.
yeah, but like when you
I would never.
Yeah, you would.
But remember when you're having things like card draw, especially card draw, okay, that means you're drawing into your lands and your other land ramp more. Okay, so that's another thing to consider when adjusting your mana curve. Right, so like you might have a lot of things that are low CMC. You might have the mana ramp cards in your deck and everything, but if you're not drawing into everything, you're still playing. You're still drawing just one card a turn. You're gonna run out of things to play from your hand.
Yep.
Have to start discarding.
Yeah, like all sorts of things, right? And card draw just helps you make your deck more consistent. So there's another thing to consider when you're adjusting your mana curve. It's like, do you have enough card draw? Because that card draw will help you fix or adjust your like what you cast per turn, right? And speed it up and make things more consistent. So you want like lower CMC mana or card draw, okay?
Yeah.
So like a Blue Sun Zenith on turn 4 is pointless. You're tapping 4 mana to draw 1 card. If you play it on yourself, what's the point? Okay.
That one card could help you.
Yeah. Like it can help
Maybe.
me, but why don't I play something like, I don't know, Opt even? Opt is better than
Right.
that at this point in time, okay? Because it's a one cost, okay? I scry and then I draw a card. If I'm doing it early on, it's not a big deal. I'm going through quicker. But with Blue Sun Zenith, if I do that for 4 to draw 1 card, that's really, very pointless.
Yep.
So
Well, like you said, it's all about what you know you need at the time, and is there a cheaper way to get what you need at the time? Opt versus Blue Sun, there is a much cheaper way to get the same effect.
yeah.
Unless you want a Blue Sun for 40.
Yeah,
Well,
that's different.
But that's the thing. It's like it's
You're
all
not opting for 40.
it's
I'll
all
tell you that.
relative, right, to what you know that you are
Maybe
going
I
to
am.
need in your deck.
Yeah. So
Maybe I am
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if you did.
The mega opt copies.
mopped.
I will copy brainstorm 29 times. What?
But it's the same thing.
You heard me.
Big brain play.
I would do that in my Locust God deck because they're still technically drawing 3 and then putting 2 back.
That's true, that'd be
Drawing
good.
3, putting 2 back. That's a lot of insect tokens I'm making here. So
Gross.
That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage.
it is a lot of damage. It's perfect.
Call me Flex Tape.
Yeah.
Flex tape can't fix that.
Flex Tape can't fix the friendships that are going to be destroyed by that Vorinclex deck.
Oh,
Who would do it? What animal?
I don't know. I
What
don't
gives
know.
them the right?
everyone. I don't know. Okay, so ways to lower your mana curve.
Yep.
All right. Very, very simple. This part is really, really simple. Okay. Very first point. Play
Ramp.
less high CMC cards.
I don't know what that means.
You're speaking Spanish. To hope.
We're gonna ignore you here,
Okay.
Hope. It's-
We understand that this is an area that you
I understand.
Fail
CMC,
at?
Are
what's-
there cards with lower CMC than 6?
So we set up this
Hard to
whole
pick, but
thing.
yes.
We
Is
set
this an
up-
intervention?
Yes.
What are
That's
those,
an intervention
what are those
for you.
weird numbers in the top corner? That's a 3.
I don't know her.
But let's face it, okay? When you're playing like less greedy cards, okay? If you have like 10 6-cost cards in your deck, it's gonna be slow. Unless you can cheat them out, it's gonna be slow, okay? If you only have 2 and the other 8 were 1, 2, and 3 drops, it's gonna be faster. It's just the way it works.
In honesty, the thing that makes you the best at Magic overall.
It's math.
No, not even that. It's the thing that will make every player the best is just being more consistent with what you're trying to do. You can always change the idea, you can always power the idea up, but being consistent with how it plays is the best way. If
Yeah.
you're constantly having like either I've blown the whole table out and I'm at 500 life with Fire Song and Sunspeaker, or I don't cast a spell for the turn with Fire Song and Sunspeaker, that is not a good range. You'd rather have the good mid ground of like, okay, I'm
got 100 life.
doing pretty much the same thing every game and stuff. I've got lots of things that are getting me towards the goal of the deck. You know, like you don't want to just play like one big thing. You're not going to make a dinosaur deck to play Zakama without a bunch of others like dinosaurs or things to ramp out to Zakama. Sure, that one time that you get the mana to get Zakama out, you blew the table up and you won. But if you lose all the other games, like you want consistency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
And
that
that's just
happens
it,
like
right?
1 out of 50 times, it's kind of pointless. But if
We can all put in crazy big cards and just like have like these enormous turns where every deck I play is running Omniscience and 5 colors and but it's the greedy way to play. You want to slow it down, you want to bring it down a bit and just
fine
have
tune it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like you just want it to be consistent to you. It doesn't
Bring
have
her
to
back.
It doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to win every game. You just want it to be consistently doing what you want.
Yeah.
And
And that's not to say that you're doing the same thing every game. It's just
No.
consistently reaching your goal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's the goal of the deck?
Yeah.
See, in my opinion, if your deck is very, very consistent, like at doing what it's supposed to, like you can have a deck that's
a good
consistently
build.
sucking at
Yeah.
doing it, okay? But we don't want that. We want it to consistently do what it's supposed to do. If it does that, then I think you are on the way of becoming a very good deck builder. Because
Yep.
if you're constantly making decks that are very, very consistent every single time, that means you understand how to balance everything out, how to get the right card draw, how to get the right ramp, how to politic, how to, like survive for a certain amount of turns, when it's going to go off, what cards to search for, if you need to search for them, all these different things.
Don't get me wrong, variance is nice. And there's nothing the explosive plays are what's memorable.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's a reason you don't remember every game.
Yeah.
It's because that doesn't happen all the time. Usually the more consistent player is going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Consistency wins.
Yeah. So, and playing less high CMC cards will definitely help with that consistency.
Yeah, it'll help
Okay.
you get things out. It'll actually help you participate in the game rather than spectate and play lands.
Yeah.
And as well, what I mentioned just before they were talking about playing less CMC is ramping.
Yep.
Yep.
So we've talked about this. We already talked about that this episode. But yeah, ramping is going to make things that might not be super viable a lot easier to play, a lot more viable, a lot.
Yeah. Well, there's
So you're going to be able to play them more regularly.
Well, with this and with most of the conceptual episodes we do, all of it is about how to build decks a little bit better and stuff. It's all mistakes we all learned along the way.
Yeah.
Because everyone likes to just pack a deck full of stupid things. I love to.
Yes.
I was looking through one of my first Commander decks I ever built is still together, and it had 24 lands in it.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And how did it do?
It never did good.
Which
ever.
one was that?
I can't even.
Beckett Brass?
No, Beckett Brass had 30 lands, which is still
I mean,
not
not
enough.
good.
It's not great, but
Yeah, it's Beckett Brass. It can't be great.
yeah, it's true.
You can make it good.
But
I do. I've only won one game with it, and I just cranked "He's a Pirate" through my speakers while I swung to kill.
For some reason, when you say like Admiral Beckett Brass, like my instinct is to make a vehicle deck. It just feel I don't know why.
love
I don't know
Brass
why.
part.
No, you need pirates.
I just like it's because of crew.
yeah,
Because of the
I
crew
understand.
mechanic. Like that's what I want.
I wanted to do that for like a whole like for Halloween.
Yeah.
Cause I was thinking like, oh, with my Masako deck, you know, with the vehicles and banding and all that stuff. I'm like, hey, I could like make this into a weird theme thing for Halloween where I could like dress up and be like a gangster. Like, oh, I'm gonna here's my commander. Gonna get some generals. I'm gonna hire a crew to go do a drive-by, bang, bang, bang. You know. Or it'd be like, oh, this is like GTA, you know, or in this case, GTM, Grand Theft Magic, where I go around, I'll take vehicles, I'll go, you know, drop off, like do a hit on you, stuff like that, right? So, but anyways, yeah, stupid ideas, but rapping is,
Yeah, but those are fun.
yeah, those are fun, and like you said, you're making your stuff more consistent. Like there's a reason why you have a dragon deck and it works. Okay. Your dragons, like, they're big CMCs, but, like, you're ramping like crazy just to get to them and whatnot, and that's what makes a huge difference. So, but, like, with the mana ramp and anything, another thing to do is to find cards that either have a lower activation cost or just triggered abilities.
Yeah, trigger abilities are great.
Yeah. So,
Always.
trigger abilities are good.
That's
why,
value from me.
Thank you for adding.
Yeah, I just wanted everyone to know how I feel about automatic abilities.
If I don't have to do anything, then I prefer it.
Well, like,
alone.
I understand, like, triggered abilities are annoying at times because, like, trigger this, trigger that. Oh, I forgot this trigger, forgot that trigger and all that stuff. But, like, when you don't have to pay mana into using the ability, it's really, really strong because it's just constant repeatable.
It happens.
Yeah, it just happens, right? You just have to remember it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all that is required.
That's the hard
you
part.
remember it.
However, whatever makes you remember it, though.
Yeah.
I saw an interesting way of remembering it last night
Yeah,
when we were out.
very funny.
Yeah.
Tyrone's card.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was playing he was playing
Oros.
a Loro deck, so he
yeah,
kept on forgetting
Oro.
to gain the life in the beginning of his upkeep. So he made this this card that you literally wrote down. Remember to gain your 2 life, you effing idiot, or something like that, right?
Yeah.
You know, and just literally put that is the top card on his library. Okay, so when he goes to
And
draw,
he kept going to draw, and he's like, "Wait."
Hang
Yeah.
on.
And he gained his
Gain my life.
Hang on
Gain
just
life.
a minute.
You
What's
know.
all this then?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, whatever works. Like
Whatever
whatever
works, like-
makes you remember your trigger. It's
Yeah.
very funny.
Like for me, I have it where I try to make I change up my battlefield so I go from left to right for triggers normally. So
Yeah.
I'll go like left here, like this one, then this one, then this one, then this one. Then I
Yeah.
also know which order I want to trigger them in too.
Yeah. Well, for me, like I'll put like if I have creatures with triggers, I'll put like stuff that has no triggers at the top, and then have like creatures with triggers like a little bit lower, and like I'll
yeah.
organize them like in this way so that I know what does what at any given time.
Yeah.
So it's just instead of just putting things onto your battlefield all willy nilly.
Yeah.
I mean, if that works for you, cool, but like don't.
So
But like it'll stress me out.
another way to lower your mana curve, and this is another obvious one. Find lower CMC alternatives. So we've mentioned this before a few times. Like
Yeah, this
Butcher
specific
Amount-
example.
Yeah, Butcher Mountaineer versus Dictate of Erebos, for example. Butcher Mountaineer costs
7.
Yeah. Dictate is
Yeah.
5. Well, it has flash as well. And it's an enchantment unlike a creature.
That's gonna come with a price point.
It
Yeah.
does. It always comes on a price point. The cheaper...
Yeah, that's true.
The faster a card is, the more expensive it will be. Okay? There's a reason why the original dual lands
Yeah,
cost so
you pay
much.
for speed.
Yeah. Vampiric Tutor is really expensive compared to Demonic Tutor, compared to, a Diabolic Tutor. Things like that. It's just because it's faster. So you want to find cheaper alternatives for or as in lower CMC. Okay? But once again, price point is going to be higher. Alright? Another thing is, play less instants. Okay. Now the reason why you want to play you want to play less instants and it will help your mana curve is because you keep instants open and you normally play them at the person's end step before, and then that's when you do it, okay? So during that whole time, you have this mana open. If you're going to counter something or whatever, fantastic. If you don't cast that instant spell because the opportunity didn't come up properly for you, you literally just wasted a turn.
Yeah, you're just sitting on empty
You're
mana.
saving the spell for something better then.
Yeah, but if you're saving for something better, you should have just cast whatever you could have on your original turn instead of waiting until they're coming all the way around to the end step of your opponent and be like, oh, I could cast this. You know what? No, I'll just wait. And like, oh wait, I had 4 open mana here that I could have used at any point in time. I never do it. Right? But that's the point of mana sinks at the same time, right?
Yeah, that's why we have them.
Brian, this is why you don't play Leyline of Anticipation.
Because I never play stuff with flash speed.
Yes!
Yeah.
I've been learning
You're not a defensive player.
I've been doing better.
You've been doing better, granted, okay?
You have the ley line. You do not play on your turn.
But you're normally an aggro player.
No.
Oh.
That's not how you do it.
Not up in here.
Not
Up in here.
So, but that is one thing to consider is playing less instants, okay? If you play more sorceries and creatures and all that stuff, you're gonna you get used to using your mana efficiently.
Yep.
And then once you start using more instants or instant spells, okay, then you start pulling that knowledge and skill into that.
Yep.
So you're more efficient while you're still using instant speed cards to cast on the end step.
Yeah, that's something that took a lot of learning, I think, is the speed and not getting too excited, dropping things too early.
Yeah.
Or too late for that matter. That was something that I that was probably the most difficult thing for me in Magic to learn was not just blowing my instants and conversely not holding them for too long and not holding the mana. Because especially when you're a new player, if you constantly leave 2 blue mana up every single turn, chances are you have
a counter spell or something like that.
Especially when you're new and you do it on turn 2.
Yeah.
And you just leave it up because you're just I should save this because I was told not to play instants.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's how I threaten people in the game all the time. I just put things that are commonly used in a separate pile and stare at people.
Same. I'll hold 1 white.
Yeah.
Up. Always.
Oh, yeah. I'll put cards face down with mana on top of them. And they're like, what's that for? I'm like, you'll find out.
That's my trap card.
Yeah.
I was like, you'll find out. Just, you do what you want to and we'll see.
If somebody put a counterspell on 2 untapped islands face down, I would burst out laughing.
That's what I do. My
You
path, I'll have
activate
my planes with it over top.
There's so many things to do for that.
My planes
It's
face
like-
down,
it's-
my planes on top.
Yeah, it's gambling, right? It's trying to
It is.
make
It is.
people think that you have that answer to
bluffing.
whatever they think that you're going to blow up, or that you're worried about them blowing up to counter whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our thoughts on mana curve. We kind of want to know, how do you guys fix your decks? What do you like to do? How often are you mana flooded? And what could you take out? How could you make yours a little better?
Totally.
Take out your opponents. That's the best way.
Best removal spell in the game.
Yeah.
Player removal.
Yeah.
Player removal. So that came up last night too. We're just how do we get rid of this one thing? We can remove the
Kill 'em.
player.
Killed.
I remember that. I think that was me.
Yeah.
It was.
The Altar of the Brood with the fairies coming out.
Just kill them.
But we didn't kill you first. They
It's
killed
so
me first.
simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
How
anyways,
elegant.
Thank you guys for listening.
That's the show. So thanks again. Check out our Instagram, Facebook.
Yeah, all our social media.
all
Feel
that
free
stuff.
to leave a review. Let us know what you think of the podcast. And discuss with us on Discord.
Tell
Yep.
us why we're bad. All right. Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Cheers.
Catch you later.